Miitopia. Everybody say it with me one more time. Miitopia is not a hard game. And that's a good thing. It's a very fun game. Every job in Miitopia can be very, very good. So we have two tier lists, a player tier list and an AI tier list. Right? Every job in Miitopia, even in the AI, can be very good. We have safe spots, sprinkles, everything else. Now before anything else, we need to explain how the game works. Miitopia has these things called activation chances. This is a spreadsheet of all of the game's internals, and these are all the activation chances for the AI to use their abilities. Now, I know I'm going to get a ton of comments that say, like, but in my game, my thief is the best character in the game, and that's fine. That is just fine. That's because with good RNG, anything can be good. But this is just objectively, we're looking at the stats. We're looking at the stats of the jobs, the stats of the skills, how they work, what their multipliers are, what their damage multipliers are, what their success chances are. That's what we're looking at. I'm not looking at, like, oh, with good RNG, if all these skills activate 100% of the time, Thief can be the best job in the game. No, that's not what I'm looking at. I'm not trying to shit on whatever job you use, right? Any job can be used, especially if you're the player. If you're the player, any job can be used, right? I just wanted to make that disclaimer. There are no bad player jobs. With good RNG and good food stats, any class can be good. Yes, there you go. So I'm going to be doing this player, controlled by the player, right? Literal elf. Elf tier. Alright? Let's do some things real quick. Where is this? Elf tier. Alright, so I'll go in depth to everything here, right? This might take a bit. So here's elf tier, alright? Here's elf tier. Now, why is elf in the elf tier? Forest Aegis. Now, I will always talk about this, right? I will always talk about this. Forest Aegis. Place a barrier in front of a friend to produce all kinds of damage. Magic. I don't know why it says magic. It has literally no effect. This is the equivalent of, Mage. Where's Mage? Here we go. Mage, right? Here's Mage, right? Mage. Barrier. Erect a barrier in front of you that reduces all damage taken. Magic. Defensive self buff. 18 mana. 18 mana. Forest Aegis. 3 mana. Can target anyone. Looking at this never gets old. Looking at this comparison right here will never ever get old. So, Forest Aegis is barrier. It halves damage. It halves damage, right? And it's just not even a third of the mana of barrier. And you get it earlier. It doesn't really matter because it's a post game, right? So on the player, keep in mind this is for the player, assuming you're controlling it. The elf will always be the best because you can Forest Aegis your entire team. It's just that ridiculous. What else does elf have? Elf. It has Dancing Arrow. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen videos of people soloing the Tower of Dread and stuff with elf, because you can just Dancing Arrow stun lock, right? I think we've all heard about that. You can just stun lock enemies. Now, elf's the only post-game job, so it makes sense why it's this good. You have an AoE heal, and thankfully the wiki has the base power and the multiplier. What is elf's magic stat? 291. Not amazing, right? But it's still an AoE heal. Enchanted arrows. Hits an enemy, plus those a wide attack. Has decent damage. Forest Aegis literally elevates the job to the best job in the game. Counter arrow. Shoot an arrow at an enemy to stop it from attacking a friend. 10% chance this seems pretty bad. Forest Blessing. Restores MP to a friend. Restores 10 MP, 0.2 times your magic. Costs 15. Can you use this on yourself? Does anybody know? Can you use that on yourself? Forest Blessing. Probably can't use this on yourself. By the way, because I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube, right? This is the internals of the game. The documentation for the internals. This is what the wiki pulls information from in terms of the multipliers and stuff. I did a lot of this. I think I did this entire. I think this page was all me. Hail of Arrows I hear is pretty decent. 1 point. Oh yeah, that's a really good multiplier. But it costs 100 mana. But when you think about it, mana costs. Like say we're assuming you have all sprinkles, you get 500 mana sprinkles. Safe spot with snuggle up. What's the snuggle up version for other people? Like where you're like, are you okay? Like in a safe spot, you can restore all of your mana in a safe spot very easily. Horse Whispering. So 6.5 times. Wide target magic attack. The main target simply takes the most damage. I think it's like a Hail of Arrows kind of deal. Elf is in the Elf tier, right? Let's go ahead and... So on the player, I don't think there are any, like, really bad jobs, right? I don't even think I'll be using the C tier. There are no bad player jobs, right? Horses, yeah, I mean, Miitopia is always an easy game, like you just said, right? Miitopia will always be an easy game comparatively. S tier. So this is the player controlling it, right? So we got Cat. Cat is very good on the player because it won't use Steel Grub. Steel Grub, this is a bad AI thing, obviously. But, Cat, I mean, I think everybody knows this, right? 445 attack. It's just really ridiculous. You use Sharpen Claws, you Hyper Sprinkles, if you have a Gleeful status effect. It's just ridiculous, right? Everything else here is pretty good. Just good damage, good multipliers, really. Just good attack multipliers. You have an attack stat of 445, and your multipliers are over 1, like on Cat's Paw and stuff. Like, that's just kind of ridiculous. It has a pretty good, it has a really good Horse Whispering from what I've seen, right? 1.55 attack, yeah, okay. 5 times? Wait, 5 individual hits? That's ridiculous! What? That is pretty ridiculous. I know they don't have a lot of mana, but they don't have a lot of mana costs either. And then, because they don't cost a lot of mana, MP Sprinkles is a lot more effective, right? Right? So that's really good right there. Let's go over to Vampire real quick. Vampire is a very good job. Now Vampire has a very good stat spread right here. Like it has low speed, right? Is that the thing? Does Vampire have low speed comparatively? No? What the heck does Vampire not have? Wait, Vampire just looks good at everything. Wait a minute. I'm looking at the stats of Vampire. What? 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 I knew Vampire was good, but what? It just has good stats everywhere. Okay, well anyways, Vampire Curse. We all know how good Curse is, right? You get hit. It's very good for killing enemies with low HP. So it has this magic stat. This is what always confused me. Magic, it has a really good magic stat, but only one of these skills actually uses it, which is Bat Tornado. And it's 2.2 times! What? What? This thing is gonna be doing like 1,000 damage. What the heck? Okay, interesting note about Bat Tornado, right? Where is Vampire? Here's Vampire, right? Bat Tornado. Here's a really interesting thing about Bat Tornado that I like to explain, right? So, Bat Tornado does magic damage, right? It scales off the Vampire's magic stat. So, 30 base, 2.2 times magic stat. But it doesn't hit the enemy's magic stat. It hits the enemy's defense stat because of a bug. Because of a bug, Vampire's Bat Tornado doesn't deal damage to the enemy's magic stat. And I think that's noted on the wiki now because I told them about it. But Bat Tornado actually does damage to like a physical attack, but it's based off their magic attack. So it makes it even better. Yeah, I saw that page. I reported it. I saw that page. So Vampire right here in S tier, right? So I think these are pretty obvious S tiers for player. Now this is where things get pretty subjective, right? This is where things like from a player perspective, I think a lot of the jobs go right into A tier, right? There's not many bad ones. I think Flower is probably B tier. I can explain that one later. Flower is Flower. But if we're talking A tier, like Tank, okay, here's Tank. Tank is probably, I wanna take time to explain Tank because it's probably very controversial, right? Tank is probably very controversial because you have to use magic to use your basic attacks, and you don't have a very good MP stat. But you have a lot of HP and you have a lot of defense. You're also very slow. I don't think this matters that much though. Tank is very iffy for a lot of people, and I can understand that. But I think a lot of people have been. Someone linked the video to the guy who thinks it's a fake. You got the elf job? Nice. Elf is very good. You should use it on your player. The thing about Tank is, on the AI, this is a very bad job. For the most part. On the player, you can choose not to use Human Cannonball or Wild Shot. But once you start getting stuff like Laser and Hot Shot and Ultra Laser, these abilities are very good. Right? What's their base damage? They don't have a base damage, alright, because they're not, okay, because they're physical attacks. It sucks that basic attack costs mana to use, but is their attack the highest in the game? Wait, wasn't Vampire stats pretty stupid? 396, what about Warrior? I misspelled that, don't mind my spelling. Speed 0 is pretty ridiculous, but you can always grab 451, so yeah, it has more attack, barely. But I think its skills are better scaling. Dark Eye? No, Dark Eye's pretty good. Probably has a good physical AoE. It probably has the best physical AoE. Now here's the deal. As the player, no job will be bad, right? So I think it can go in there, but it's a bit, maybe I should make a C. Warriors, I'll probably do this ordered, right? Left to right. Warrior is definitely better than Tank then, right? I can, just doing a glance at that. Horse Whispering Tank is pretty good because it's 7 separate hits. Anything that's a multi-hit, because there's no damage cap on multi-hits, obviously, right? Anything that's a multi-hit will be very good. But look at the Scientist. Warrior's probably really good at Horse Whispering, right? Now, let's think about this. Highest single target in the game, yeah. Let's think about this for a second. As a player, I want to take a look at the pop star. Oh god. I want to take a look at pop star. I don't know if as a player, like, as an AI, pop star is very good. Right? As an AI, pop star is very good. I don't know about as a player. I don't know if it's warranted to be A tier as a player. You can end quarrels, 70% chance on AI. Popstar Horse Whisper. All target support that fully restores all allies' HP. Okay, well, alright, well, you know, you sold me at Excites. You sold me at Excites them. What? What? What is this? What? What? What am I reading? Okay, yeah, it's S tier on player. There you go. Are you happy? What? Sure. Sure. It's now the best S tier job. That's probably the best horse whispering in the job in the game. Imp. What's Imp's horse whispering? Imp. All target physical attack. User takes recoil damage. But the scale. What is that scaling? It's a physical attack. Job. The imp gets a good. It gets a good like hybrid, right? It doesn't have any physical skills, but if its horse whispering is physical, then it can use that, and that's pretty good. Demonic Whisper is pretty awful, like really awful. Wicked Pitchforks. It has some good skills. Its draining skills are pretty underwhelming, but that's okay. Sweet Whispers, very good. Butt Jab, very good for Hyper Sprinkles. Charm, free Hyper Sprinkles, pretty good. Excuse me, I think Imp's definitely up there as well. I don't know if it's good as Cat. So this is ordered left to right, like S tier best, just because the Horse Whispering. Vampire is very good. Cat is very good. Imp, probably the bottom of S tier right now, right? Everything else probably goes in A tier except for Thief. Why is Thief not... whatever. Everything else probably goes into A tier, right? Hyper isn't good for all teammates. I know dancing doesn't work with bosses, but that doesn't mean Elf's not Elf tier. That doesn't mean Elf is not Elf tier. Remember, Forest Aegis just brings it up there on its own. Forest Aegis will bring it up there on its own, no matter what, right? Thief's Horse Whispering at least isn't awful. It's like a good version of Steel Grub, right? It's only 50% chance? What? Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Let's go ahead and talk about, before I go into the A tier stuff, let's go ahead and talk about Thief and Flower, okay? Because I know a lot of people are going to be wondering about that. Thief. 219 speed. Does that outspeed Cat? I think it does, right? Barely. Yeah. But not even that by that much. Thief. Bad attack stat. It has a pretty good defense, all things considered, but it's kind of an all-rounder. It doesn't do anything very good. Forest Aegis, half damage, and you can put it on anyone. It's 3 mana. What were they thinking? Booby Trap is pretty good on the player, because you can use it, but you're not, like, that's probably the best, like, the best thing Thief can probably do on the player is just spam traps, right? Especially a huge trap. Because it just stops an enemy attack, basic attack. Phantom Strike, here's the thing about Phantom Strike. It's not even that much better than Whirlwind Strike. This is very confusing to me when I was looking at it. Thief. Let's take a look. The wiki has all the information. I can just look at the wiki. Phantom Strike, so here's Whirlwind Blades. The multiplier is 0.75. It does 3 attacks, and when you use Lend a Hand, it can do more attacks. Phantom Strike is 6 random attacks, but the scaling is worse. And Lend a Hand can do 9. Consistently, Whirlwind Blade is actually probably going to be doing more damage than Phantom Strikes. Like, that's kind of sad. And it costs, you know, like double the mana almost. This part makes me sad. Whirlwind Blades is probably consistently going to do more damage than Phantom Strike. Huge Trap's good on the player. Rock Rain, it's only 0.6, 20 mana. This isn't even that amazing as well. Yeah. Okay, theoretically, you can do a Cruel Thief. This is only 15%. Hold on, let me compare something. What is Escort? 20%. Okay, so Backflip is just worse Escort. What? What? So Backflip is just worse Escort. Pilfer, at least it works 100% of the time. Pilfer's pretty good, actually, but, I mean, Pilfer was good, but I think in the Switch version, you just get so many MP candies and HP bananas, it's not very useful. Thief is good early game, like we said earlier, but that's pretty bad. It's better than Flower, probably. Let's talk about Flower real quick. I already talked about it earlier. And Escort increases friendship. That's a very good point, Small Bean. Thank you. And Escort increases friendship. Very good point. Flower. These stats, for a magic class, its magic stat is very bad. Let me compare its attack stat to Thief. It's almost as good. That's pretty sad that Thief almost has less attack than Flower. That's pretty bad. Wow. That explains a lot. Flower, 354 defense, less defense than Thief. It has very low speed. It has good HP, but I'm pretty sure it has less HP than Vampire. I don't think Chef is very amazing, and I'll talk about why. I think Chef's an A tier one, right? I don't think it matches up to these 4. Flower. We just talked about it. I'm not going to spend too much time on Flower because I talked about it recently, but I guess because I'm making this a YouTube video, I should. Let's compare Flower's magic stat. 281, very pitiful, by the way, considering all of his abilities are magic-based. It's basically half of magic, the magic of Cleric. Gentle Fragrance. Now, the thing about Flower is it gets all of its abilities very early. Level 3, 4, 6, 8, 9. It's good to use in Realm of the Fae because you get a lot. You can also get rid of any status effects, but that's just a safe spot. This is probably Flower's best skill right here, Restoring Whistle, right? Targets everyone, restores all status effects. Assuming you are not status affecting, you can use it. Right? Right? Alright, now here's the thing about Flower. These multipliers are garbage. These base powers, compared to Cleric's base healing and multipliers, are really bad. Like, really bad. Flower Power Angry is a pretty good status effect, all things considered. I just know the AI uses this a lot. Remember, this is a player tier list. This is assuming the player is using it. Mega Flower Bed. Cradle everyone in the... So this is a AoE heal. Base 50, multiplier 0.3. Compare that to Giga Panacea. It is the exact same. It does, hold on. It does less base healing, but it has the same multiplier, which means every time Cleric will out-heal it easily. The only difference is Mega Flower Bed is gotten a lot earlier, but in the post-game and even in the late game, Flower will just not be good. Let's see. Hurricane, blast all enemies head on if a Gale Force wins. 0.8 multiplier. You'd think this would be pretty good, right? This actually looks pretty good damage-wise. But look at that magic stat. 281. It's not going to be matching Giga Explosion anytime soon. That's very sad. Flower is not bad on the player, but it's just statistically, Flower is just not very good. Probably the worst job in the game. I don't really think there's anything that can be said about that. Alright, now that we've covered these B tier choices, let's go look at Warrior real quick. I'm not going to spend too many times on these A tier because they're all pretty good. Thief is worse? Yeah, you know what? Now that I looked at it, you're probably right. You're probably right. Thief is probably worse when I looked at those stats. Those were pretty pathetic. Warrior, probably, I don't know if it's the best one here. It's probably the best physical job besides Vampire, right? And Cat. But I mean, if you're talking about skills, right? Oh god, go back there. If you're talking about skills, physical skills, Warrior, 451 attack, very good. Jump Slash, 1.5. Dark Eye Slash, 2.1. Very, very good. Same Super Spin Slash. These are all very good. I don't think there's much to say, especially as a player. As a player, when I played the 3DS version of the game, Proud Protector, spamming this is ridiculous. Spamming Proud Protector is very good as the player. I might be willing to move Warrior up to here as like the worst S tier job, because Proud Protector as player alone is very good. Even if you never attack, just spam Proud Protector. Right? Just spam Proud Protector as a player. And the thing is, it also ups friendship. It increases the friendship gauge, which is very good. Snap out of it. I think this always, especially on the player, you can always get rid of somebody's thing. It's also an auto. Oh, no, you can't use it. It's an auto. It's an auto. It's an auto of a pretty good chance. And the thing is about snap out of it is you don't lose a turn. If snap out of it applies on somebody's turn to get rid of status effect, they get to go after it. Very good. Very good. Dark Eye Slash 2.1, Double Slash. Yeah, I think I'm actually willing to move Warrior up to the worst S tier. Very good. Take a sip of water. I've been talking too much. You're right. Warrior's a very good player job. I can see that being. The sad thing about the AI Warrior is it never uses a Proud Protector unless they're low. And when the me is low, they're just going to HP Banana anyways. Right? And then Horse Whispering, 9. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, this is probably the best single target damage in the game. Wow. Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Pika Boy. Chef. What do we think about Chef? I don't like Chef, but I don't think it's bad, right? Its best damage in terms of is Spicy Dish, right? And Spicy Dinner. It's pretty good damage. What's his attack stat? 408. The thing is about Chef that I found is it has good defense, but its HP is kind of low compared to other jobs. Chef's pretty good though. The thing is, its healing doesn't scale, so its healing's always gonna do the same amount. 150, its best healing. Monster Dinner sucks. This is just awful. This is the worst instant kill skill in the game, probably. I think Chef's Horse Whispering is pretty good, right? It's like Spicy Dinner, but it doesn't have the downside of Spicy Dinner. Oh, it misses? What? Okay, well, that's kind of weird. I would not put everything in S tier. These things are all much better than everything else left. Just because you can control it doesn't mean it's good. I don't think there's any bad player jobs, right? Like, all the jobs here are very close except for Elf. Elf is an Elf tier. I think Flower and Thief are just too bad to justify using most of the time. But, I mean, it's Miitopia. Miitopia is a very easy game. I'm going to keep putting this disclaimer. Miitopia is an easy game. Every job is good when used by the player. Chef is pretty good. It's definitely better than all these. Scientist, I think after I played this entire playthrough as Scientist, right? I played this entire playthrough as Scientist, and I think it's very... It surprised me. Scientist, it's definitely not an S tier, but it's definitely an A tier one, right? So Chef's pretty good, right? Scientist has a pretty good magic stat. He also has a pretty good attack stat. I think Ignite, 50% chance is a pretty good. I think that's more than a large weapon, right? I think that's probably more than a large weapon. Yeah, enlarge weapon is 20%. Scientist is all about those auto attack enhancing. Ignite, pretty good. Safety mask, pretty damn good as well. I've had this activate a lot of times. Cure.exe. Here's the thing about Cure.exe. It heals mana, and you very quickly start healing more mana than you're losing with the multiplier, because it's based on the multiplier as well. So Cure.exe is very good. Absorb never activates, which is pretty sad. Volatile Formula, very good damage. Black Hole, very good base damage as well, 0.5. That's a very good multiplier considering max 449 magic. Glitch, just good single target. Scales pretty well. It kind of sucks that Scientist doesn't have any more single target high damage, which is what keeping it. It's probably better than Chef. What am I doing? Mage is obviously up here. I should probably put that up here. Let's go talk about Mage real quick. Yeah, I've only seen Absorb like twice as well, sadly. Mage, I think this obviously gets a lot of skills. It gets 3 tiers of all its offensive skills. Caps out at 502 magic. Very good. Very high magic stat. It has a high MP use, but you gotta remember Miitopia MP sprinkles are very good. Very easy. You can safe spot abuse. Safe spot abuse is very good. Let's see. Enlarged weapon, if only this activated more, 20%, pretty bad. But if we're talking about player, you just spam Tower of Flame. It's pretty late, but it's very, very good. 80.8. Let's think about this. Say you're maxed out on magic. I'm gonna open up a calculator. You won't be able to see it. Say you're maxed out on magic. Times 0.8. That's 400 damage right there. That's 480 damage right there from Tower of Flame with max magic. That's most bosses don't have more than a few thousand health. That's very good. Giga Explosion, also very good damage. I mean, what else needs to be said? Giga Lightning, very good damage. Barrier is good, but Forest Aegis is funny. Forest Aegis is this funny version of Barrier. On the AI, Mage is probably very, very good because you can see these fat 100% activation chances. But Mage is definitely up there. It's going to be the best magic damage in the game. Everything else probably just goes in A. Cleric's probably the best A rank job, right? Princess probably better than these. So we'll go take a quick look at them. I don't think as a player Cleric is S tier. I think Cleric's just fine because like you can do healing through other stuff. I think as an AI, remember this tier list right here is as a player. As an AI, Cleric is S tier. Yes, I agree. AI is a completely different game. Cleric, good magic, good everything. As a player, I think you'd just rather do other stuff, right? You'd rather have other jobs. Resurrection's good. 50% success chance. Does Giga Resurrection always works? Yes, that's nice, but the AI will always use it, so there's no need to worry. Same for everything else, the AI will always use these. Let's take a look at the Horse Whispering. I've been kind of ignoring that. All targets support the Revive Swan and allies, and... Okay, how good is this MP? How good is this MP restoring? Is it like a lot? Cause, yeah. Wow, Horse Whispering just makes player jobs so good. All MP and HP? Jesus Christ. Alright, yeah, I'll move it up to S. Horse Whispering buffed a lot of these jobs. Wow. Horse Whispering buffed lots of these jobs. Wow. That's very good. I will agree, that's very good. What's Princess? I hear Princess's Horse Whispering is pretty bad. All targets support that fully restores all allies MP. Okay, that's pretty good. Lethal stats, that's very good. 60%. This is pretty good. I think I'll move it up to the top of A. It's better than Scientist Horse Whispering. That's for sure. I don't think... Okay, this Horse Whispering on Princess is very good. I don't think Princess is good enough without it, though, to go up to S. Right? Regal Dance is good, but doesn't always work. Roll Wave's good damage, but the magic stat's kind of lacking. Escort, 20%. High T, it's decent. 70%. Yeah, I think Princess is too underwhelming in terms of skills to get up to S rank, right? Ultimate Royal Wave is good, but the damage is not very good. I mean, when you think about it, this is the same multiplier as Tower of Flame, but the magic stats is like 100 less. Base damage is 80 or is 30 less. I think Tank is, yeah, it's probably better than Chef, right? as a player. Might be better than scientist, I don't know though, right? I don't think it's S tier, obviously. Yeah. Chef, yeah. And the thing is, the gap between A and B is not that big, but flowers, you know, these are just not very, they're underwhelming, you know. Remember, there are no bad player jobs. There are no bad player jobs, right? Alright, so this is what I'm thinking, right? Elf tier. And I think this is ordered, like left to right, best to worst. Right? Popstar, that horse whispering really just kind of blows everything out of the water. Like, what? What? This is pretty good. I think this is pretty good. There are no bad player jobs. Now, who wants to go, make a quick, AI tier list? I think Princess is probably better because its horse whispering is better. This horse whispering is very good. This horse whispering, like, we won't have to worry about this if we do an AI tier list, right? But horse whispering really changes things up a bit. I think horse whispering scientist is also very good, but I think this is probably better because support. Anything, like, I think because Popstar, just like Popstar, it has a chance to do something to an enemy. What is the comm status? Sharply lowers defense. Yeah, very good. Yeah, wow. Alright, so let's go ahead and reset this, right? Let's go ahead and this will be AI, right? This will be AI. How do I add a new? Oh god. Okay. So, this is where things can actually be bad. It's called the AI is using your job. It's called, wow, the AI really sucks sometimes. It's called, wow, it's tank. Tank's gonna be C, actually, because it gets better late game. But, yeah, Mage and Cleric are very good on the AI. I think Elf's still up there, but it's not as good. Doesn't have its own tier, obviously. Flower, just stay down there, man. Just don't hurt yourself, Flower. Don't hurt yourself, Flower. Thief, don't hurt yourself. You're probably better than Flower, though, as an AI. Oh, actually, at least Flower can heal. I don't know. This is still a hard choice. This is still, I don't think Warrior's S tier as an AI, because Proud Protector does not activate very often. It's hard for me to say. Vampire is still up there. It is reliable. You are right. I think it's probably like the worst S tier though if it's up there. I don't know. Popstar, yes. Popstar is up there. I think Cat is probably... Cat would be up there, but Steel Grub exists. Elf's probably the worst S tier, yeah. I don't really want to put Warrior up there because Proud Protector is a... Proud Protector's... Okay, here's the thing about Proud Protector as an AI. Proud Protector as an AI, it's only ever used, when a Mii is low HP. And before it can even be useful, the Mii will use an HP banana or heal itself through some other way. Chef... Oh, God. I used to like Chef, but after using it so much, I really don't. I really don't like spicy dinner or dish. Princess is probably B tier. Here's the thing about Princess as an AI. Low activation rates. Just doesn't really do anything. Blindfold's very good, so it can't be bad, right? Like, they're probably the same. It can't be bad. Right? But it's good damage, but I just don't understand. As an AI, I don't understand why you'd use it over some other stuff. I think Scientist is probably better. No, that's actually just not true, because if we go into the internals of the game, here is Cure All. It has a 100% activation rate, as we can see right here. Giga Panacea, 100% chance to activate. Imp is probably B. Yeah, I think Scientist is probably better than Imp. I don't know if I can put Scientist down in a B. It's kind of hard to sell. If it isn't Scientist, it's the best B tier. So yeah, if we look at the internals of the game, these activation chances are what really matters. And some jobs have really bad activation chances. Imp's probably better than Princess, I agree with that. I'm not going to go too in-depth, but what you have to remember is just the AI. Some of these chances to activate stuff, they can't use Horse Spring, but that doesn't really matter. Mage will always be good because it has a 100% chance to do everything. Same with Barrier, it would even always use Barrier. Elf's not as good because Forest Aegis it's only like a 20% chance. Like, Elf is good, but these activation rates are really bad. Really bad activation rates. What is Scientist Cure.exe activation rate? 50%? Yeah, that's not very good. At least it's better than most. Excuse me. Sorry, it's very difficult to say. Cat would probably be S tier in AI, but Steel Grub is right there, and it always uses it. Yeah, what is Black Hole's activation chance? 60%? It's not bad, right? You're probably just getting unlucky. It's better than 50% chance, which makes it a pretty good AI job, right? It makes it a pretty good AI job. I think Chef uses spicy stuff too much to be good as an AI. 10%. Okay, wow. Spicy dip. Is it really only 10%? Jesus. Okay, well, it's probably the best. It's probably better than a few of these then. Yeah. Alright. Oh no, this is the wrong one. This is the player tier list. It's hard to say. God, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Chef's healing is just not good. It doesn't even use it all the time, right? Oh, it does. It has 100% on the heals. Okay, hold on. Let's take a look. Banana Fritter. Alright, let's do a more in-depth analysis of the Chef real quick before I make some. Chef. Banana Fritter. 25% chance. This thing never gets used. Monster Dinner is probably one of the worst skills in the game. The AI loves to use it. It never works. I think it's probably B tier. I keep going wrong. I think it's probably low B tier though. Probably giving Chef too much flack. I think it should use. I think if Chef used Feast more, it'd be a lot better. But it doesn't. I think if Chef used Feast more, it'd be a lot better. That's why it's a lot better as a player. Yeah, low B. That's probably. Yeah, you're probably right there. Imp as an AI. I'll quickly go over everything real quick. Imp as an AI has some pretty weird activation chances. If it used Sweet Whispers more, it'd probably be better. The drains aren't very good. It never uses energy drain, even when it's low. Charm is okay. I just wish it was better. I don't think it should be using Charm. Yeah, I'll put it on my YouTube channel. This entire thing. Punishing Pitchfork. Pitchforks are pretty good, but they're not really used. Demonic Whisper is pretty bad. I mean, might as well put it on my YouTube. I put all this effort into this, right? So yeah, we'll just go. Okay, basically, I won't go too in depth into like the AI stuff, but here's the thing for everyone. Miitopia is not a hard game. Say it with me. Miitopia is not a hard game. A lot of this stuff, any job can work, and there are plenty and plenty of people who are say, for me, Imp worked. For me, Flower is the best job in the game. Cool. Miitopia is not a hard game. Sprinkles, safe spot, bananas, MP candies, everything here can make any job good, even on the AI. Right? Miitopia doesn't have to be a hard game. Miitopia does not have to be a hard game. That's a very good point. It's a very good game. I love it. So we're talking AI. Let's just go real quick. Mage. All of its abilities have a 100% chance to activate. Very good stats. Will just always be good as an AI. Cleric. All of its heals, for the most part, have a 100% chance to activate. Just very good, reliable healing. That's what matters for the AI. I am going to make a hard mode mod. Don't worry. I'm going to do a rebalance. It's my number one plan. Reliability is what matters for AI. It has it. Vampire. It has reliability. Has very good stats. Probably the best stat spread in the game. Just good skills, good damage, good AOE. There's not very much to say about it. Popstar. It has a good AI. Ends corals. Encore. Very good ability, especially if it gives the player an encore. That probably carries it a lot, right? Encore. Sorry, it's taking a moment. Encore, when used on a player, when the AI uses it for the player, makes it very good. As Pika Boy just said, Elf, as an AI, kind of doesn't have very good percentages at all. It kind of never uses the skills, but the skills are so good that it just doesn't matter. Right? Like, it doesn't have any activations above 20%, but these skills are just so amazing that it just doesn't really matter. Still the bottom S tier. Warrior, I would put it in S tier, but it never uses Proud Protector. It never uses it at all, but otherwise it's very reliable. Cat, Sharpened Claws, Hyper Sprinkle. If Cat did not have Steel Grub, it'd probably be an S tier. Right? It'd probably be an S tier if Steel Grub wasn't there. Scientist, good damage, doesn't really use its abilities as much as we would like. It never uses Absorb. Still very high magic stat, good AoE damage. If it used Black Hole more, it'd be very much better. Not much. If you use Cure Code more, it'd be better, or Cure.exe. But as an AI, it doesn't really use those as much. Imp, we already talked about this a bit. It has some good skills, but its activation chances as the AI are kind of whack. Princess, same thing. Kind of weird activation rates. Its damage is pretty good. I don't really like how much it uses some of its abilities. Chef, you know, as an AI, it's going to be using stuff like Spicy Dinner, even though it's pretty low odds. Monster Dinner just has kind of weird activation rates. Its healing is not consistent. Chef would be a lot better, as I said, if it used Feast 100% of the time. It only uses 50% of the time. Sadly, it does not do that. Tank, not the worst job in the game, guys. Pretty good, but it probably has the worst early game, right? Tank probably has the worst early game out of any job. But once Tank gets going, pretty good. Stops using coral-inducing moves, and especially if you pair a tank up with a Popstar, you have nothing to worry about, and it's actually pretty good, right? If you are running Popstar plus Tank probably moves up to A, but we're not doing that kind of stuff. Tank, much better than people think. Flower and Thief. I've already talked about how bad Flower stats are and how bad its ability stats are. As an AI, it loves to use the Earth is Angry. It gets rid of your status effects. Yeah, Monster Dinner is really bad. But Flower is just worse healing in every single way compared to Cleric. Its stats, it has like half the magic stat of a Cleric. It doesn't even have a good attack stat. It doesn't even have good damaging abilities. Bluster and Hurricane are okay. They look good on paper, but they don't have the magic stat to use it. And then Cleric probably has better single target damage because of Aura, right? Yeah, Aura is just going to do more damage than anything. It's going to do more damage than Bluster all the time. Alright, we talked about Thief, right? Thief is better on as a player because, I mean, it's still not amazing as a player, but... Oh, come on, please load. The thing about Thief is... these ability stats are just sad. Whirlwind Blaze is probably going to be doing more damage than Phantom Strike on average, just because of the multiplier and everything else. As an AI, Pilfer is probably not very useful. It will always use Pilfer. It doesn't use its best ability. Thief's best ability is probably a huge trap, and the AI will almost never use it. Same with Booby Trap, only 50% chance to activate. And its damage is just pretty underwhelming. It has a good speed stat, but, like, not even that much higher than some other jobs. So that's the AI tier list. Our player tier list we already explained. Now, let me take a sip of water real quick. Miitopia. Everybody say it with me one more time. Miitopia is not a hard game. And that's a good thing. It's a very fun game. Every job in Miitopia can be very, very good. So we have two tier lists, a player tier list and an AI tier list. Right? Every job in Miitopia, even in the AI, can be very good. The safe spots, sprinkles, everything else. Now before anything else, we need to explain how the game works. Miitopia has these things called activation chances. This is a spreadsheet of all of the game's internals, and these are all the activation chances for the AI to use their abilities. Now, I know I'm going to get a ton of comments that say, like, but in my game, my thief is the best character in the game, and that's fine. That is just fine. That's because with good RNG, anything can be good. But this is just objectively, we're looking at the stats. We're looking at the stats of the jobs, the stats of the skills, how they work, what their multipliers are, what their damage multipliers are, what their success chances are. That's what we're looking at. I'm not looking at, like, oh, with good RNG, if all these skills activate 100% of the time, Thief can be the best job in the game. No, that's not what I'm looking at. I'm not trying to shit on whatever job you use, right? Any job can be used, especially if you're the player. If you're the player, any job can be used, right? I just wanted to make that disclaimer. There are no bad player jobs. With good RNG and good food stats, any class can be good. Yes, there you go. I think that's all I had to say on this topic, right? I just thought, because when I made that poll on YouTube, a lot of people were saying Imp was the worst job in the game. I was like, what? I know how it's underwhelming on the AI, but, like, Flower and Thief are right there. Like, I think I'm kind of I'm almost tempted to do, like... Oh, God. I did not mean to do that. No, go back. I'm almost tempted to do, like, this. Big gap. It's kind of hard to say, because Tank is pretty good, all things considered, right? Yeah, this is more a statistical approach, but yeah. I don't know if this here small-sized gap. There. Maybe that's better. It's hard to say, right? Tank is only a bad job at the beginning, but it really matters because it's a bad first impression, right? It's a very bad first impression. I can see a lot of people have that bad first impression, and I can see why. Yeah. Oh, I've tired myself out. Let me just go ahead and plug this back in. Anyways, that was a